Novel, Ancient True Human, Remake, Chapter 3, Dawn's Guyu, Echoes of Fate. Clack, clack clack, clack, clack clack. The rhythmic striking of the night watchman's clapper steadily broke the deep silence of the pre-dawn, tapping out a familiar cadence. The sound drifted into the stilt house, and Fang Yuan's parched eyelids fluttered open. Fifth watch of the morning, he thought to himself. Last night, he had lain on his bed, pondering for a long while, meticulously arranging countless plans for this life. He had only managed to snatch a little over an hour of sleep. This body had yet to embark on the path of cultivation, its vitality not yet overflowing. Thus, waves of weariness still enveloped his physical and spiritual being. Yet, having endured over 500 years of life and death cycles, Fang Yuan's will was as profound and resolute as tempered steel. A mere desire for sleep was utterly negligible. At once, he pushed aside the thin blanket covering him and rose with crisp decisiveness. He pushed open the window, and the spring rain had completely ceased. A surge of fresh, moist air, mingling the scent of damp earth, forest trees, and wild flowers, instantly caressed his face. Fang Yuan took a deep breath, suddenly feeling his mind clear, the lingering drowsiness thoroughly dispelled. The sun had yet to rise, the sky a heavy azure, both gloomy and on the verge of brightening. Gazing into the distance, the stilt houses, constructed from green bamboo and mountain timber, blended into the sprawling mountain range, a tranquil expanse of verdant green. The stilt houses were typically at least 2 stories high, a characteristic structure of mountain dwellers. Due to the uneven terrain, the first floor consisted of sturdy wooden stilts, while the second was the living space. Fang Yuan and his younger brother, Fang Zheng, resided on this second floor. Young Master Fang Yuan, you are awake. I shall ascend now to attend to your morning ablutions. Just then, a clear, youthful voice drifted up from downstairs. Fang Yuan looked down. It was Shen Cui, his personal maid. Her looks could only be considered above average, but her attire was exquisite. She wore an elegant green gown with long sleeves and trousers, delicate embroidered shoes on her feet, and a shimmering pearl hairpin adorning her dark hair. Her entire being exuded youthful vitality. She glanced at Fang Yuan with joyful eyes, carrying a basin of warm water, and ascended the stairs quickly with soft thump-thump sounds. The warm water was perfectly blended for washing his face. For rinsing his mouth, a willow branch rubbed with snow salt was used, capable of cleansing and whitening teeth. Shen Cui gently attended to him, her face adorned with a bright smile, her eyes filled with spring-like charm, subtly hinting at affection. Afterward, she helped Fang Yuan don his clothes, often letting her full bosom lightly brush against his arm or his back during the process. Fang Yuan's face remained expressionless, his heart as still as calm water. This maid was not only a spy for his aunt and uncle, but her nature was also vain and cold-hearted. In his previous life, these traits were cleverly concealed. But after the Aperture Opening Ceremony, when his status plummeted, she immediately turned her back on him, showing him no small amount of disdain. When Fang Zheng arrived, he happened to see Shen Cui smoothing a crease on Fang Yuan's shirt. Envy and admiration flashed in his eyes. Living with his elder brother for years and receiving Fang Yuan's care, he also had servants. However, it wasn't a young, beautiful maid like Shen Cui, but a corpulent old woman. If one day, Shen Cui could serve me like that, what would it feel like? Fang Zheng mused inwardly, yet he dared not dwell too deeply on the thought. His aunt and uncle's favoritism towards Fang Yuan was common knowledge within the manor. Originally, he had no servants. It was Fang Yuan who had actively requested one for Fang Zheng. Though they held different master-servant statuses, Fang Zheng dared not look down on Shen Cui. The reason was Shen Cui's mother, Nanny Shen, who was the aunt's personal attendant and the housekeeper of the entire manor, greatly trusted by the aunt and wielding considerable authority. Enough, you needn't do more. Fang Yuan impatiently flicked away Shen Cui's soft, small hand. His clothes were already perfectly smooth. Shen Cui was largely seeking to entice him, looking for an opportunity. To her, Fang Yuan's future was bright, with a high probability of grade A aptitude. If she could become Fang Yuan's concubine, she could transform from servant to mistress, taking a single step to heaven. In his previous life, Fang Yuan had been deceived, even developing some fondness for this maid. Reborn, he saw through everything, his heart as cold as frost. You may withdraw. Fang Yuan didn't even bother to look at Shen Cui, simply adjusting his cuff. Shen Cui pouted slightly, feeling a mix of confusion and grievance at Fang Yuan's current lack of romantic sensibility. She wanted to say something coquettish, but Fang Yuan's elusive, almost threatening aura deterred her. She opened her mouth several times, ultimately only managing a soft yes, before obediently retreating. Are you ready? Fang Yuan looked towards Fang Zheng. His younger brother stood blankly at the door, head bowed, staring at his toes, and mumbled a soft He had actually woken up at the fourth watch, too anxious to sleep, secretly getting up early to prepare. Dark circles already shadowed his eyes from lack of sleep. Fang Yuan nodded. His younger brother's inner thoughts, which he hadn't perceived in his previous life, were now crystal clear to him, but exposing them now held no meaning. He coolly instructed, "Then let's go." Thus, the two brothers left their dwelling. Along the way, they encountered many peers in groups of 3 and 5, clearly heading to the same destination, the Aperture Opening Ceremony. Look, those are the two Fang brothers. Whispers of discussion drifted to his ears. The one walking in front is that Fang Yuan, the one who composes poetry. Someone emphasized, their tone full of admiration. So that's him, a cold face, an arrogant demeanor, truly like the rumors say. One voice was sour, carrying envy and desire. If you could be like him, you could act that way too. Someone else coldly retorted, hiding a sense of dissatisfaction towards the envious speaker. Fang Zheng listened with an expressionless face. He had long grown numb to such discussions. He lowered his head, walking behind his elder brother, silently proceeding. By now, the early morning sun had appeared on the horizon, Fang Yuan's tall shadow falling over him. The sunlight gradually climbed higher, yet Fang Zheng suddenly felt as if he were walking straight into darkness. This darkness emanated from his elder brother, and he feared that for his entire life, he would never escape the elder brother's vast shadow. He felt a heavy pressure in his chest, even his breathing becoming difficult. This suffocating sensation made him even think of the word asphyxiation. Such talk. It's undoubtedly instigated by Mu Xiu and Lin Fengbai. Hearing the discussions in his ears, Fang Yuan sneered inwardly. No wonder after his grade C aptitude was revealed. He was surrounded by enemies and endured a long period of harsh treatment, disdain, and indifference. His younger brother Fang Zheng's increasingly heavy gasps from behind did not escape his notice. In his previous life, he hadn't recognized these signs, but in this life, everything was clear. This was the keen perception brought by 5 centuries of experience. He suddenly thought of his aunt and uncle, truly quite cunning. They had Shen Cui assigned to monitor him, while his younger brother was given an old woman. In fact, there were other subtle differences in their daily treatment, all intentionally done, precisely to ignite resentment in his younger brother's heart and sow discord in their sibling bond. Mortals do not fear scarcity, only injustice. In his previous life, he had too little experience, and his younger brother was too naive, too foolish, successfully manipulated by their aunt and uncle. Reborn until now, the Aperture Opening Ceremony was already upon them, the situation a deeply ingrained habit difficult to change. However, with the methods and wisdom of a demonic grandmaster like Fang Yuan, altering this situation was not impossible. This younger brother could be completely suppressed and subdued, and a small maid like Shen Cui could be easily brought under his control. As for his aunt, uncle, clan leader, and elders, he had at least several hundred plans to trample upon them. However, I do not wish to do so. Fang Yuan mused languidly in his heart, a scornful smile playing at the corner of his lips. So what if he was his biological younger brother? There was no significant familial affection, merely an outsider to be cast aside. So what if Shen Cui was beautiful? Without love and loyalty, she was merely a body. To capture her? To ravish her? She wasn't even worthy. What of his aunt, uncle, clan leader, and elders? They were merely transient travelers in his life. Why waste his mental energy and vital essence on stirring up these passers-by? Ha ha! As long as they do not hinder my pursuit of the grand Tao of eternal life, then let them play their trivial games. I won't even bother to trample on them.